नारायणं सुरगुरुं जगदेकनाथं भक्तप्रियं सकललोकनमस्कृतं च त्रैगुण्यवर्जितमजं विभुमाद्यमीशं वन्दे भवघ्नममरासुरसिद्धवन्द्यं नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये देवं नारायणं नत्वा सर्वदोषविवर्जितं परिपूर्णं गुरूंश्च गीतार्थं वक्ष्यामि लेशतः लक्ष्मीनारायणं नत्वा पूर्णबोधान् गुरूनपि कुर्मः श्रीकृष्णगीताया भाष्यादुक्तार्थसङ्ग्रहम्. Good morning, everyone. Today we are looking at shloka number 17.14, 14th shloka. So 17th chapter begins with one question from Arjuna. Arjuna is asking people who do not follow Shastras, ye Shastra vidimutsatya yajante. People who do a lot of yajna without necessarily following the injunctions given in the Shastra. But they are Shraddhayanvitaha. They are properly endowed with good amount of Shraddha. Tesham nishtha tu kaho Krishna. Krishna, what is their nishtha? What is their dharmacharana like? What are their practices according to you? Is it sattva? Is it rajas? Is it tamas? Right? Because the 16th chapter ends with shastra. The best way to overcome the gunatitatva, right, is follow the shastra. Yash shastra vidimutsujya vartate kamakaratah na sa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim tasmat shastram pramanam te karya vyavastito jnatva shastra vidhanoktam karma kartumiharhasi. So the importance of shastra, the whole of 16th chapter is all about how is it even possible to overcome the gunas, the effect of the gunas, right? Those are the three questions that we got answered through the end of the 14th chapter, the entirety of the 15th chapter, and the complete 16th chapter. The three questions from Arjuna came back in the 14th chapter. Okay, lingay srin guna neta natito bhavati. Kimacharaha katam chaitam ki trin guna nati vartati. So those three questions got answered in these three chapters. But towards the end of the chapter, Shastra, the importance of Shastra is brought about. So Arjuna asks, people who do not have access to Shastra, it could also be the fact that not everyone may have access to the proper Shastra. So what happens to those people who do not follow the Shastric injunction, but are properly endowed with Shraddha, right? Then Krishna goes on to explain. See, the Shraddha is also threefold, right? There is Sattva, Rajas and Tamas within the Shraddha. But let's not just look at Shraddha, let's not just look at the Gunas. When you talk about Nishtha, your Arjuna's question was all about Nishtha. Tesham Nishtha Sukha, right? So the question is not whether the Shraddha became the answer, right? Because Arjuna's question had Shraddhayanvita. But the Shraddhayanvita can also be threefold. Sattvika Shraddhayanvita, Rajasika Shraddhayanvita, or Tamasika Shraddhayanvita. Baddhamayoyam Purushaha. There is no dearth of Shraddha. There is no escapism from Shraddha. Everybody has to have some kind of a Shraddha. As a man, as a human, Shraddhamayoyam Purushaha Yogyat Shraddha Sa Evataha. And depending on whatever Swabhavika, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas kind of a composition they carry, everyone carries, their Shraddha also follows the same. But it's not just enough to know the Shraddha. We need to understand, there is divisions in the Yajna, there is divisions in the Ahara, there is divisions in the Dana, there is divisions in the Tapas, right? Shraddha is not enough. And then he goes on to say, people who follow, and simplistically, the divisions is basically when we saw so far, whether it comes to Ahara, whether it comes to the Yajna, or whether it comes to the Karaka, the Karta, right? In them also, the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, the differences are primarily coming from the fact that anything that is done without expectation, personal expectation, but expectation from the greater good, right? For the Loka Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu kind of a thing, that is Sattvika. Anything that is done from a very, very selfish agenda, that I need an immediate return, so that becomes the Rajasika. And anything that is done in absolute ignorance, right? It is Tamasika, right? So Rajasika will be the momentary benefits, immediate personal benefits. Satvika will be the long-term benefits and for the overall greater good of the society, of the universe and things like that. And Tamasika is done out of ignorance. And so far, till the 13th shloka, as Krishna did the Pratijna, that he said that, I will also talk about the threefold division, the Rajas, Sattva and Tamas kind of a division within the Yajna, Dana, Tapaha and Ahara. Right? Because at the end of the day, these are the three Achara, Nishta are threefold, right? The top three Nishtas, when we look at the Yuga Dharma, is that Yajna, Dana, Tapas. Yajna is the Parama Dharma for the Dwapara Yuga. Tapas is the Parama Dharma for the Krita Yuga. And Dana is the Parama Dharma for the Kali Yuga. And these are the top, and they could be the Parama Dharma for those individual Yuga. But in every Yuga, these three activities are permanently there. Nobody can stay away from Yajna, Dana, Tapas. Right? So he goes on to explain. When you want to understand Nishtha, which is the Dharma, it is not enough to just to gloss over it at a high level. You need to know the details of how the Rajasika, the Sattvika, the Tamasika Avarana will impact the Dana, Yajna, Tapas, and also Ahara. Because at the end of the day, while we do the Dharma Karana, somebody has to be the Nimitta Bhokta also. We are also Bhoktrus, right? We are also consuming the experiences. So in the Ahara also there are Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And he explained that. Like Ahara Suti Sattvasya Trividha Bhavati Priya. Right? He spoke about that, Ayuhu Sattva Balarogya Sukha Preeti Vivardhanaha. These are the Sattvika Ahara. Katvam Lalavana Krishna, Tikshna Ruksha Vidahinaha. These are the Rajasa, Anna, Rajasa Ahara. And Yatayamam, Gatarasam, Puti, Pavyushitam Chayatu, Uchishtam Apichamedhyam. These are the Tamasika. And then he speaks about the three types of yajna, right? The yajna, apala kamchibir yajna, like, without any expectation. That's the, that's the, yastavya meveti manaha, things that need to be done because it has to be done, right? Why are you doing this? Because it has to be done, not because I need some special benefit. I need to get the first rank in an exam. I want to have a beautiful son born, on so and so day. These are not the material expectation that I have. Yastavya meveti manaha, it has to be done for the greater good. Hence, we are doing it, right? That's the Satvika. But Abhisandaya tu phalam, with expectation of a work, of a fruit, of a particular result, whatever is done is the Rajasika Yajna. And Vidihinam, Asrishtanam, everything that is done in absolute jeopardy, absolute ignorance, that kind of a Yajna is the Tamasika Yajna. But he said he had made the Pratijna that he will also speak about the Dana and the Tapas, right? So, Shloka number 14 is where we begin now. I think this is the section where he will start counting, recollecting the different types of tapas. We will see this particular shloka now. You click on the link that I have provided under the room title. You will directly be taken to shloka number 14. Right? Shloka number 14 reads like this. Hari Om. Om. Devadvijaguru Pujanam Shauchamarjavam Brahmacharyamahimsa cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. No? This Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam, Shauchamarjavam, Brahmacharyam, Ahimsa cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. I think before talking about the Sattva, Rajas and the Tamasika qualities of the tapas, he is outlining there are three types of tapas. Right? There is a Sharirika tapas, there is a Manasika tapas, there is a Vachas, there is a Vak tapas. There are three types of tapas. I think this shloka talks about the Sharirika tapas. Let us see. You scroll down a little bit on this web page, you will see something called the Padacheda. Right? Every shloka, when we see the shloka, the words are tightly conjoined. Right? They are tightly joined together. So we will break the shloka. You will see the sandhis, right? The Padacheda. Deva, Dvija, Guru, Prajna, Pujanam, Shaucham, Arjavam, Brahmacharyam, Ahimsacha, Shariram, Tapa Uchyate. This is how the sandhis are split and we get the Padacheda, right? We get the split of the words. Now, when we put these words into a proper sentence, the section just above the Padacheda is the Anvaya, right? It gives us the prose order. When we put them into a proper sentence sounding format. Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam, Shaucham, Arjavam, Brahmacharyam, Ahimsacha, Shariram Tapaha Uchyate. Right? He is now explaining Sharirika Tapas. How do we get the meaning of it? On top of the screen, we have a link called dictionary. Right? Click on the dictionary. Deva, Dvija, Guru, Prajna, Pujanam. The worship of Deva, Dvija, Guru, Prajna. Right? The Pujana of Deva. Deva is all the Devatas, the Devaganas, right? From the Brahma Paryanta, Sambha Paryanta. Like, from the Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma to the Rudra Deva. Devan Bhavayatanena, Te Deva Bhavayantuvaha. There are different, gods, which Abhimani Devatas, that are powerful enough to give us, grant us specific, wishes fulfilled, right? Deva Pujana, Dvija Pujana. Dvijas are the Brahmana, right? Brahma Anati. Again, these are the Brahmana Varna, not necessarily the Brahmana Jati, right? Just because a namesake Brahmana comes, we can't really afford to give them unnecessary, more than necessary respect, right? But Dvija Pujanam, worship the eligible, the Arhata Brahmana, Dvija, Guru. Guru is anybody who teaches us, right? When we look at the Avaduta Gita, we see that Guru can come in different forms. Anybody can teach us. Prithvi Vayurakasham Mapo Chandrama Ravihi Kapoto Jagara Sindhu Patango Madhukrit Gajaha. There are 24 gurus that Avaduta calls out. It can range from Prithvi, the earth, Vayu, the wind. We can learn from anyone. We can learn from the pigeon. We can learn from the bee. We can learn from even a prostitute called Pingala. Learning can happen from anyone. But these are the gurus who take us through the initiation, right? The Guru Pujana is basically the people who take us the initiation and then teach us very proper lessons. And then anybody that we would have learned from any lesson, we will offer our prayers to them. Guru Prajna. Prajna are anybody who is Prajnavanta. Prajna is a very beautiful word, right? It's the Prakarshana Jnanam, the enlightening knowledge. Anybody who possesses this kind of a enlightening knowledge, Tattva Vidaha, Tattva Darshinaha, we call them as Tattva Darshinaha, Tattva Darshivihi. Like earlier in some of the other chapters we had seen this. So these are the people who have the knowledge that can be enlightening in nature. So worshipping them is the Sharirika tapas. Shaucha, cleanliness. There is a Bahya Shaucha, there is a Antar Shaucha, right? There is a physical cleanliness, there is an internal Antakarana Shuddhi, right? That's cleanliness. Arjavan, Rujatva. Rujatva is basically straightforwardness, candid dealing, like very straightforward behavior. Not many people can afford to have this very easily, right? We tend to speak in a very convoluted, twisted ways and things like that. Diplomacy, this, but straightforwardness. Arjavam. Brahmacharyam is the continent. Brahmacharana, like Brahmani Charati. And Brahmacharya is also that Naistiki Brahmacharya. Basically, sense control, complete sense control. So that's the Brahmacharya, right? Urdhvaretas, Urdhvamantinaha. So people who can make sure that the flow of the energy doesn't happen downward, it happens upward. Urdhvamantinaha, Urdhvaretas. That's the Brahmacharya. Basically making sure that Murdhna Dhayatmana Pranam, right? Astito Yoga Dharanam. People who can make sure that they use that vital energy to rise up rather than going down and down in terms of procreation, maithuna, nidra, ahara. That is unnecessary. Brahmacharya is the one that helps us in the elevation path of elevation. And in the common context, we say continence, which is abstinence, and sexual purity, which is not engaging in excessive libido activities, right? So that's a Brahmacharya. Ahimsa, ahimsa is absolute non-violent behavior for all beings, for everything around us, avoiding the killing, injury to others. These are the Sharirika tapas. Shariram tapa uchyate. These are known as the Sharirika tapas. So, and this is not easy, right? When we want to be unhurtful for anyone, it's not easy. We will end up hurting a lot of creatures that are lying in the ground. It's very difficult to stay away from hurting anyone. Similarly, it's very difficult to follow the brahmacharya. It is very difficult to follow the arjatva, rujatva, which is arjava, the straightforwardness, the candid, straightforward, simplistic lifestyle. It's not easy to maintain the cleanliness, the shaucha, and then not easy. It we don't even recognize some of the prajnas and the gurus and devas, right? Forget worshipping them. That comes much later. All these are very difficult. That's why they call the tapas. Tapas is endurance, right? Tapati. Tapati is basically where you perspire, perspiration. Right? Tapas. No, tapas is also heat. Extreme heat is also tapu. No, Shakyovara yutum jalena hutabuk dandena surya tapu. No, Chatrena surya tapu. Surya tapa. The scorching heat of the sun is called the surya tapa. So tapas is also the scorching, enduring, no, extreme enduring kind of a activity, right? Ascesis, they call it. Right? So that's why it's called the physical tapas. The physical tapas is all of these things, doing the service, the servitude to the noble people, the learned people, the teachers of the society, and then maintaining the brahmacharya, self-control, all of these things. Ahimsa. That's why they are called the physical tapas. Right? We go to the next shloka. Hari Om. Om. Ha. अनुद्वेगकरं वाक्यं सत्यं प्रियहितं च यत् स्वाध्याय स्वाध्यायाभ्यसनं चैव वाङ्मयं तप उच्यते. अनुद्वेगकरं वाक्यं सत्यं प्रियहितं च यत् स्वाध्यायाभ्यसनं चैव वाङ्मयं तप उच्यते. Right? Now we are looking at some next quality, next type of tapas, which is the Vangmaya tapas, the tapas of speech. How to take that, endure that hardship in speech. What are the hardships? First we see the padacheda, right? Manaha prasadaha, saumyatvam, maunam, atmavinigraha, bhavasam shuddhi, iti etat tapaha manasam. Sorry, I think I jumped the line. My apologies. Anudvegakaram, vakyam, satyam, priyahitam chayat, swadhyaya abhyasanam cha eva, vangmayam tapaha uchyate. My apologies. I think I was reading the next shloka. So the sandhi, the padacheda gives us anudvegakaram vakyam, satyam, priyahitam chayat, swadhyaya abhyasanam cha eva, vangmayam tapaha uchyate. When we put that into Anvaya, yet Anudvegakaram Priyahitam Satyam cha Vakyam Swadhyaya Abhyasanam cha Eva Vangmayam Tapaha iti Uchyate. What does that mean? Yet whichever, that is Anudvegakaram, which does not cause Udvega. Udvega is trouble. Udvega is that agitation kind of a behavior, right? That unagitating kind of a speech. Vakyam, anudvegakaram vakyam. Something that doesn't cause trouble to others, something that doesn't cause disturbance to the surrounding, something that doesn't cause agitation to another person. Anudvegakaram vakyam. Priyahitam cha satyam cha vakyam. The words that are priya and hita, that are kind and beneficial, and satyam cha, and also truth. No. And swadhyaya abhyasanam cha eva. And also indulgence in self-study, right? And practice of self-study. These are called vangmayam tapaha uchyate. These are the endurance of speech, right? Now this is beautiful, right? When we, I think Sudhaji can perhaps share that. In the Karna Parva, there is a definition of satya that comes, right, by Bhagavan. Yat satam dhara, yat satam hitamattyantam. Tat satya iti nischayah. Right? Yat satam hitamattyantam. Whatever is hitakara, whatever is beneficial to the noble people is known as satya. But now Krishna is using multiple adjectives, right? Priyahitam, satyam, vakyam. It is priyakara, it is hitakara, it is satya. These are together called the Vangmayam tapas, whatever speech. Now again, we saw the Manusmriti, right? Where Satyam bruyat, Priyam bruyat, na bruyat Satyam apriyam. Right? Speak what is Priyakara, speak what is Satya, and Satya is Hita. Whatever is Hitakara for noble people. These are the most difficult things to practice. And it also says, na bruyat Satyam apriyam, and Priyam chana nritam bhuyat. Just because it is Priyakara, don't speak a lie. Now this is where the conundrum lies, right? To speak the truth, to speak the words that are pleasing, priyakara, and also hitakara, beneficial, not easy. If you say something beneficial, okay, that might not sound pleasing. If it sounds pleasing, it might not be the truth. If it's the truth, it might not be pleasing or beneficial. One of them will go for a toss. So maintaining all the three, right, is the most difficult thing. I think when we look at Mahabharata, when we look at Bhagavata, some of the behaviors of Krishna, you know, it's a very clear understanding. It might look to us that he is lying, but he keeps quiet. When the situation comes that there are conflicts coming, whether between Satya, Priya, Hita, it's always good to keep quiet, right? So rather than mentioning something and going wrong, keeping quiet, and that's the Vangmayam tapas. It's not easy to hold the gun, hold the horses, and stay quiet. It's not easy. So Krishna is telling. So this is the Vangmayam tapas. Vangmayam tapas is where everything that you speak is not causing udvega. Make sure that whatever you speak doesn't cause udvega. It is priyakara, it is hitakara, and it is satya. Then also make sure that you indulge in swadhyaya. Whatever we do, whatever activities we engage in, is basically a learning exercise for all of us, right? Swadhyaya abhyasana. This is the Vangmaya tapas, right? That's essentially what. Let's see what quickly Aurobindo says. The speech causing no trouble to others, true, kind, and beneficial to others. The study of scripture, these things are called as ascesis, tapas of the speech. Vangmayam tapas. Right? We look at the next shloka. Manah prasadah saumyatvam maunamatma vinigraha bhavasam shuddhirityetat tapo manasamuchyate. Manah prasadah saumyatvam maunamatma vinigraha bhava samshuddhi iti etat tapomanasam uchyate. Shloka number 16. Right? Let's look at the padacheda. Manaha prasadah saumyatvam maunam atma vinigraha bhava samshuddhi iti etat tapaha manasam uchyate. I think this is the most difficult. I think the intensity of tapas will increase, right? When we move from Sharirika tapas to the Vangmaya tapas, the intensity is slightly higher. We can easily imagine that. And from Vangmayam tapas to the Manasika tapas, it should go further higher. What does that mean? First, we will see the Anvaya. Manaha prasadaha saumyatvam maunam atma vinigraha bhava samshuddhi iti etat manasam tapaha uchyate. Some things are called as manasika tapas. What are they? Manaha prasadaha, a clear and calm gladness of the mind. Very happy mind. We keep speaking about this Bhagavad Bhava, right? Maitra, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha. That's the Manas Prasadaha. Having that clean Bhava, Saumyatvam, that gentleness, being kind for everything. Maunam, silence, it's not easy. All these things are easier said than done. Staying quiet, Maunam. Atma Vinigraha, self-control. And again, one leads to the other, right? If we are not self-controlled, we can't keep the Mauna. We can't be self-controlled and be practitioners of Mauna. We may not be able to display Saumyatva, right? So they're all interrelated, right? And Bhava Samshuddhi, having a very clean Antakarana, the purifying of the whole temperament, Bhava Samshuddhi. Iti etat, all of this, manasam tapaha uchyate, are known as the manasika tapas, or the endurance of the mind. Right? Very, very simple one. Let's see what Aurobindo says. A clear and calm gladness of the mind, manas prasadaha, saumyatvam, the gentleness, maunam, the silence, self-control, the atma vinigraha, and vinigraha, not just nigraha, right? Vinigraha, vishishta nigraha, vividata nigraha, from all possible aspects, control the mind. And the purifying of the whole temperament, the bhava samshuddhi, the antakarana shuddhi. This is called the ascesis of the mind. Manaha, no, manaha tapaha uchyate, manasika tapaha uchyate, manasa tapaha uchyate. We click on the next shloka. We go to the next one. Hari Om. श्रद्धया परया तप्तं तपस्तत्त्रिविधं नरैः अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्युक्तैः सात्विकं परिचक्षते श्रद्धया परया तप्तं तपस्तत्त्रिविधं नरैः अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्युक्तैः सात्विकं परिचक्षते. You see the padacheda. Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapah tat trividham narehi aphala akankshibhi yuktaihi satvikam parichakshate. When you put that into a proper sentence, the Anvaya sounds like this. Aphala akankshibhi yuktaihi narehi paraya shraddhaya taptam tat trividham tapah satvikam parichakshate. What does that mean? Right? Aphala akankshibhi yuktaihi. People with an akanksha, a desire for aphala, for no fruit. I don't expect any particular fruit for myself. Such aphala kankshibhi yuktaihi narehi. People who are harmonized with that kind of a thought of not desiring any fruit of action. And paraya shraddhaya taptam. And the things that are practiced with extreme shraddha, the highest enlightened faith. This is the parabhakti, right? This is the thing, no? Yetu dharmyamritamidam yathokam paryupasate. No, shraddhadhana matparama. When we look at the 12th chapter, that is where he keeps speaking about the paraya shraddhaya. And so he says, maya veshamano yema nitya yukta upasate. Shraddhaya parayopeta steme yukta tamamataha. These are the people with highest shraddha, are the ones who are the highest yogis, right? This is the highest form of yogi. Right? Paraya shraddhaya saptam. These are the things, people who practice that things, tapas, with highest amount of shraddha, right? No, and tat trividham tapaha. And whatever is done, those three types of tapas, we spoke about the sharirika tapas, the vatasa tapas, the vangmaya tapas, and the manasika tapas, the manasa tapas, right? Manas tapas. These three tapas, whatever is being done with highest amount of shraddha, right? And without any expectation of fruits, right? That is satvikam parichakshati. That is seen, that is said to be satvika tapas, right? Satvikam. Without any expectation, anything that you do, right? And with highest amount of shraddha. Now again, shraddha is a beautiful word, right? When we understand the meaning of the word shraddha, that sattvika quality will be understood, right? Which is basically sumanatva, shuddha matitva, right? Clean mind, clear intellect, very clarity of thought, anindakatva, without any insulting nature, and ananyagatitva, without any alternative option. Oh, if I don't listen to this thing, I don't mind. I will go to another teacher who can teach me. There is no such second option, right? Oh, if not for this doctor, I will take one pill from this doctor. If today he is not able to cure my cold, I will go to the next doctor. That's not Shraddha, right? It may be practical, but it's not Shraddha. Let's quickly see what Aurobindo says. This threefold ascesis, these three types of Trividha tapas, whatever was seen in the last three shlokas, right? Done with the highest enlightened faith, paraya shraddhaya upetaha, with no desire for fruit at all. Apala akankshibhi yuktaihi. Harmonized is said to be sattvic tapas. Right? We go to the next shloka. Harihi Om. Satkaramana pujartham tapodambhena chaiva yat kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalamadhruvam. Right? Satkaramana pujartham tapodambhena chaiva yat kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalamadhruvam. What does the padacheda give us? Satkaramana pujartham tapah dambhena cha eva yat kriyate tat iha proktam rajasam chalam adhruvam. What does the Anvaya tell us? Yat tapah satkaramana pujartham dambhena eva kriyate tat adhruvam chalam cha iha rajasam proktam. He's now talking about the Rajasika tapas. What is Rajasika tapas? Yet tapas. Whatever tapas, that is Satkara Mana Pujartham. It is done for the sake of Satkara and Mana. It is done for the sake of personal glory and honor. Right? I want people to felicitate me. That's why I do charity, right? If I do charity, people will call me on the stage and give me some wooden plank with my name embossed on it and things like that, right? That's Satkara, Mana, and that I earn respect. Oh, Bharataji was the first person to donate, 50,000 rupees the minute we announce this Ganesha Puja Pandal, some nonsense like that. For the sake of Satkara and the Mana. Satkara, Mana, and the Puja, and people also worship you. Hail Bharataji. Yeah, that kind of a thing. Dambhena. Dambha is basically overestimation one's own ability, right? That's a hypocrisy. I don't have this ability, but I don't deserve to be called as the great ruler of this earth, but I will do all public nonsense, the fakery. Like the other day we saw one uh, great politician, right? He was trying to behave as though he is one, ordinary citizen. He was holding one empty suitcase on his head. That's dambha, that's hypocrisy, right? Absolute. With vanity, ostentation. Dambha is basically the false pride, the hypocrisy, right? Where Dambhena eva kriyate. It is done only through that false pride kind of a thing, for the sake of satkara, mana, and the puja, for the sake of basically self uh, glorification, self glorification, that unnecessary pride and people's worship, people's false adoration. Kriyate. That adhruvam chalam, that unstable, uncertain, fleeting tapas is called Rajasic tapas. It's said to be Rajasic in nature. If you what Aurobindo says, the ascetic is tapaha, which is undertaken to get honor and worship from men for the sake of outward glory and greatness, and for ostentation is said to be Rajasic, the unstable and fleeting kind of tapas. It is unstable because the minute the carrot is taken away, our intensity of the tapas will go away. Right? So that's why it's called unstable, uncertain, adhruvam. Right? Let's go to the next shloka, shloka number 19. Harihi Om. मूढग्राहेणात्मनो यत्पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्य उत्सादनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् मूढग्राहेणात्मनो यत्पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्य उत्सादनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्. Now we are talking about the tamasika tapas. There is Rajasika tapas we saw in the previous shloka. The previous to previous we saw the Sattvika tapas, right? Let's see the Anvaya. Moodhagrahena Atmanah yat pidaya kriyate tapah parasya utsadanartham va tat tamasam udahritam tat tapah tamasam tapah iti udahritam. What does that mean? Yat tapah, whatever tapas, that is Moodhagrahena, it is held through delusion, through ignorance, through perversity, and Atmanaha Pidaya, and done with an effort to impose suffering upon the Pida, the trouble upon oneself, with self-flagellation, self-mortification kind of a tapas. You're just unnecessarily burning your energy without any knowledge of why exactly it's being done. Right? Obviously, you will do Atma Hanya, like Atma Pida. Right? You do self-flagellation kind of a Parasya Utsadanartham, or for the sake of hurting others. I will count 1,000 names of Bhagavan Vishnu 10,000 times, so that I can put some shapa to Shraddhaji, some nonsense like that. Parasya Utsadanartham. Utsadana is basically annihilation, right? Utsadana. Parasya, for the sake of annihilation, for the sake of harm of others, you do some tapas, right? Great kriyate. Tat tamasam udahritam. That is shown as an example of udahritam. Udaharana, we say, no? Udaharana is example. That is being shown as tamasika tapas. Let's see what Aurobindo says for this. That ascesis, that tapas, which is pursued under a clouded and deluded idea, Moodagrahena, performed with an effort and suffering imposed on oneself, Atmana Pidaya, or with the concentration of energy in a will to hurt others, No parasya utsadhanartham va. That is said to be tamasi. Tat tamasam udasatam. We go to the next shloka, shloka number 20. दातव्यमिति यद्दानं दीयते नुपकारिणे देशे काले च पात्रे च तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतम्. Now we will talk about dana. We spoke about yajna, the sattvika, rajasika, tamasika yajna. We spoke about tapas, the sattvika, rajasika, tamasika tapas, and threefold tapas. Sharirika tapas, physical tapas, Vangmaya tapas, the speech endurance, and Manasika tapas, the mind tapas, the mind endurance. Right? Now we talk about dana. There are three types of dana: sattvika dana, rajasika dana, because yajna, dana, tapas are the parama dharma. Along with ahara, what we consume is the nishtha. Our dharma is basically these four together. Along with jnana, of course. Jnana is the underlying theme in everything, right? So these are the ultimate things. Now let's look at dana. दातव्यमिति यद्दानं दीयते नुपकारिणे देशे काले च पात्रे च तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतम्. Right? What does the padacheda give us? Datavyam iti yat danam diyate anupakarine deshe kale cha patre cha tat danam satvikam smritam. The Anvaya should be quite simple. Datavyam iti yat danam deshe kale cha patre cha anupakarine diyate tat danam satvikam iti smritam. Right? Datavyam iti. Like yajna also. Satvika yajna is yastavyam iti samadhaya. It has to be done, so it is being done. That yajna. Similarly here, datavyamiti yajnanam kriyate. With the sole idea that this has to be given. Hence it is being given by me. I am just nimitta, right? That's the sattvika. Things has to be done, so it is being done. I am just a incidental instrument, right? Nimitta matra. So datavyamiti yajnanam diyate. It has to be given, and hence it's being given by me. Yajnanam diyate. Deshe kale patre cha. In patrecha anupakarine. With anupakarine is basically without any expectation, in return, and to a very very eligible candidate. Anupakarine diyate. Anupakarine deshe, anupakarine patre, karine kale. In the appropriate place, in the appropriate time, and in the appropriate patra. Patra, the recipient. Without any expectation, right? Tat danam satvikam smritam. That kind of a dana is known to be sattvika in nature, or recounted as smritam, smriti, memory. It is recollected as sattvika dana, right? Let's quickly see what Aurobindo says. The sattvika way of giving is to do it for the sake of giving, because it is the right thing to do, and the beneficence, and to one who does no benefit in return, without any expectation of a return benefit. There is no return gift, right? Today, the kids go to the birthday party. The return gift has become a expectation. So why should I give him a gift? He didn't give me a return gift. There is no, that is not the right way of gifting, right? You gift because you have to give a gift, right? Without any expectation of a benefit in return. And it is to bestow in the right conditions, right? Of time, place, and the right recipient. Deshe, kale, cha, patre, cha, anupakarine. Who's worthy and to whom the gift can be really helpful. That kind of a dana, right? To a well-learned person, the person in need, all of these things. Right? You look at the next shloka. Yattu pratyupakarartham phalamuddishya va punah diyate cha pariklishtam taddanam rajasam smritam. Yattu pratyupakarartham phalamuddishya va punah diyate cha pariklishtam taddanam rajasam smritam. Right? The padacheda yat tu prati upakarartham palam uddishya va punah diyate cha pariklishtam tat danam rajasam smritam. Right? The Anvaya should be quite simple here as well. Yat tu pariklishtam prati upakarartham param phalam uddishya va punah cha diyate tat danam rajasam smritam. What does that mean? Yes, to the one that is
Bhartaji,
with
voice is breaking.
did it get any better, Shraddhaji?
Yeah, now it's good.
Hari, I just cancelled the Wi-Fi. Uh, go back to the mobile. Sometimes mobile works better, especially with the launch of the 5G technology. Okay. Yet to the dana that is pariklistam. It is towards klista, klesha, right? Klista, unwillingness, violence to oneself. These are the things. But klista, it is loaded with klista, right? Yet to pariklistam. Prati upakaratam. It is done for the sake of a benefit, self benefit, return, some kind of a advantage for myself. I donate so much to Tirupati so that the IT rates will not happen on my company, something like that. Right? A lot of people drop diamond jewelry to the Tirupati Hindi with an expectation that Tirupati Venkateshwara will save them. Some kind of a upakara, prati upakara for the sake of prati upakara, return benefit. Phalam uddishya or with a specific phala in mind. I do this puja so that I can get the rank, the necessary rank in the All India entrance test, something. Phalam uddishya with the uddesha, with the resolve of getting a particular benefit. For that sake, you do dana. Okay? Va punah cha diyate, and then again being given. Tat danam rajasam iti smritam. Or rajasam iti smritam. It is recounted as rajasika dana. Right? We will see the Aurobindo interpretation. The Rajasic Dana kind of giving is that which is done with unwillingness or violence to oneself or with a personal and egoistic objective or in the hope of a return of some kind. Again, most of these interpretations, they sound amazing when we read Hindi. My Hindi is bad, but if you read that in Hindi or any Bharatiya Bhasha, I think Bhagavad-Gita is much better understood when we study it in a local language, right? But with the limited capacity and the limitations of the language of English, we will do as much as we can. Let's go to the next shloka, shloka number 22. Om आदेशकाले यद्दानम् अपात्रेभ्यश्च दीयते असत्कृतमवज्ञातं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् अदेशकाले यद्दानम् अपात्रेभ्यश्च दीयते असत्कृतमवज्ञातं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्. Again, with the core theme of Sattvika, no personal expectation done for the sake of the greater good. Rajasika, immediate gratification of personal benefit. Tamasika, complete andatamas, ignorance, delusion, right? Lost state, right? That's the core theme, and we will see the explanation coming, right? From a dana's perspective. Adesha kale yat danam apatre bhyasya diyate asatkritam avajñatam tat tamasam udasatam. The Padacheda, Adesha Kale, Yat Danam, Apatrebhya cha diyate, Asatkritam, Avajñatam, Tat Tamasam iti Udahritam. Right? The Anvaya should be quite simple. Yat Danam, Asatkritam, Avajñatam, Adesha Kale, Apatrebhya cha diyate, Tat Danam Tamasam iti Udahritam. Right? Yat Danam, the Dana, the gift, which is Asatkritam. It is done in a discourteous way, without any satkara, right? Without any respect. No, you have to give dana, like you have to give 1,000 saris to bhaktas, say for example. You throw them, like without. There are people who give dana without even looking at the faces. Like you just throw it asatkritam without any proper respect. Without regard for the feeling of the recipient. Asatkritam, avajñatam, spiteful, despite. This has to be given. Like the other day, we saw some people commenting on, these are the people, hungry people. We feed them langar food, some nonsense like that, right? That is insulting. You can't insult. And again, this is not the community as a whole. There are a couple of people who made such statements in the social media. That is basically avajñatam, despising, the spiteful kind of an attitude. No, take it. No, be happy. No, you shall live by this dana, something like that, right? All that ahankara. Adesha Kale, and done in an improper Kala and improper Desha, no, improper time and place, right? With no consideration for the right conditions of the time and place. Apatrebhyah cha, and also you have identified not necessarily the right recipient, deserving recipient. For the undeserving persons or the recipients, like you have to distribute, say, Bhagavata. Bhadrapada Masa is very, very sacred, for donating Bhagavata Sarodhara. So you buy some 100 books, you know, go to a temple, you want to do dana, but you're not getting the right people. Now you have these 100 books, you have to reduce the load off your shoulder. You start giving it randomly. You might even give it to 100 people who will make those paper pages used for making their churumuri, like that murmura, whatever that belpuri. They might even use that, right? You might end up giving it to such people also. Apasrebhyah cha diyate, right? Tat danam tamasam iti udaharakam. That is an example of a tamasika dana. Udaharana spoken of as tamasika dana. Let's see Aurobindo. The tamasic gift is offered with no consideration of the right conditions of time, place, and object. No adesha, akala, apatra. Right? It is offered without regard to the feelings of the recipient, right? Asatkritam, and despite avajnatam, right? Even in the acceptance. Right? That's basically tamasika dana. Not just in giving, even while accepting the dana, if we have despising attitude, somebody is giving me a nice veshti as a dana, I'm like, oh, this is Ramaraj. Okay, these are the makers of, these are the Malaysia people. Oh, this is the nylon. This is the polyester. This is not cotton. Or this is not silk. So we have that cynicism in us, right, which will lead to, this despising attitude, let down attitude. That's basically the tamasika dana, both from a recipient perspective. That's what Aurobindo's special note is. Not just in giving, even in acceptance. If you have these attitudes, that's the tamasika dana. Right? Beautiful. Let's go to the next shloka, shloka number 23. Om Tatsaditi Nirdesho Brahmanas Smritah Brahmanastena Vedascha Yajnascha Vihita Pura. I think he spoke about Nishtha, right? Question from Arjuna is Nishtha, Tesham Nishtha to Ka Krishna. Now, Nishtha cannot be just given in one sentence, so he went on to explain there is something called Shraddha, there is something called Ahara, there is something called Yajna, Dana, Tapas. These are the three basic activities. Shraddha is the attitude you carry, and Ahara is what you consume. And then he now brings the attention to the Brahma. Om Tat Saditi Nirdesho Brahmana Trivida Smritaha. See, when we talk about Brahma, I think when we look at the Nishtha, the Dharma, the Yoga, the Aishwarya, all of these are nothing but different names of the same Brahma. Right? Now he says, Om Tat Saditi Nirdesho Brahmana Trivida Smritaha Brahmanastena Vedasta Yajnasta Vihita Pura. Right? What is he trying to say? We will see. First we will see the Padacheda, right? Om Tat Sat iti Nirdeshaha Brahmanaha Trividaha Smritaha Brahmanaha Tena Vedaha cha Yajnaha cha Vihitaha Pura Vihitaha. Right? What does that mean? First we will see the Anvaya. Om Sat Sat iti Brahmanaha Trividaha Nirdeshaha Smritaha Tena Brahmanaha Vedaha cha Yajnaha cha Pura Vihitaha. What does that mean? Om Tat Sat iti. Om Tat and Sat. These are Brahmanaha Trividaha Smritaha. These are the three alternative names of Brahma, the Param Brahma, the Aksharam, Brahma Paramam. We saw, right? We saw. Om is one of the names of Param Brahma, Akshara Param Brahma. That's the Ekakshara Brahma, right? Om. We already knew about Omkara being another name for Brahma, but now Krishna is reminding Om Tat Sat iti Trividaha Brahmanaha Nirdeshaha Smritaha. These are the three directive names of Brahma. Right? I'm just recollecting. Smritaha. Brahmanaha Tena pura brahmanaha vedaha yajnaha vihitaha. And by him, long ago, the brahmanas, the Vedas, and the yajnas were ordained. Vihitaha were created. So Vihita is basically more than create, just created. Of course, anything that Brahma creates is an ordinance, right? But from our lesser worldly understanding, it should be more importantly seen as ordained. Vihitaha. Basically, there are different ways in which we can understand the Brahma, Parabrahma, right? Om, Tat, Sat are very, very important, right? Om represents scripture. Otam, Protaha. The one into which everything gets merged into, like how the thread weaves into the cloth, right? All the threads weave into merge into the cloth, right? That's Otam Prota, and one who is in everything, and the same cloth is in there in every strand of the thread, right? In that cloth, as long as they are part of the cloth, right? So Otam Prota, and this is how the Bhagavad Tattva is, right? We are all into that, we are all woven into that Parabrahma Tattva, and that Parabrahma Tattva is in all of us. Right? Otam Kota. This is something that we had contemplated little more in depth, when we looked into the eighth chapter. Eighth chapter was all about the Omkara. No, uh, and oh, Mityekaksharam Brahma Vyaharan Mavanusmaram, and he spoke about that, right? Constantly chant the Omkara mantra in everything that you do, because that's one way of making sure that our anusandhana, our resolve, our mental makeup is properly in place in anything that we do. We just keep chanting Om, which means that I'm offering to you, Bhagavan. All of this is one part of you. When I start the shloka, when I say Om, which means all I have spoken is merging into you. All that I'm about to speak is also merged unto you. Right? No, it's just coming out from you. Om, when we say so, Om is basically something that he has spoken quite in length in the eighth chapter. But now he's reminding, Smritaha. Smritaha is recollection, right? Smriti is memory. So let's recollect. Om Tat. Tat is that. In a very, very simplistic way. Tat means that. But Tatam, there is a word called Tatam. Yena sarvamidam tatam. In the second chapter we saw Avinashitu Tadvidhi. Yena sarvamidam tatam. Tatam is basically where from whom everything is pervaded, or from whom everything is extended. Now we are all extending from the Bhagavan, and we are all pervading because of the Bhagavan. And he is the one who is pervaded in everything. So basically he is there in everything. Right? So one Om talks about the ultimate weave, the ultimate fabric which holds everything. And Tat talks about from whom everything has come out. And Sat. Sat is that bhava, na asatah vidyate bhava, na satah vidyate abhava. Sat is that bhava, right? Sat is also that nirdosha, without any defect, like nirdosha. Nirdosham hi samam brahma we spoke about. And Sat is that, and Sat is also jiva. Sat also denotes the jiva, right? Now, Om Tat Sat iti Trividaha Brahmanaha Nirdeshaha iti Brahmanaha of the Brahma Trividaha Nirdeshaha Smritaha. The threefold definitions, appellations, the significations, the directives of the Brahma has been declared or has been recollected. Smritaha has been recollected. Tena, by him, by the Brahma, by the Parabrahma, Pura, long ago, at the dawn of the cosmic era, right? The dawn of the Kalpa, whatever way we want, but Pura, like how in the third chapter he says, no, Pura Uvacha Prajapati, earlier when he created, what did he say? No, Sahayajna Prajaha Sastva. We were all created as part of this yajna by that Prajapati, right? By that Parabrahma. No? So he says, Pura Tena Brahmanaha Vedaha Yajnaha cha Vihitaha. No, and by him, long ago, the Brahmanas were created, the Yajnas were created, the Vedas were also created. Now, all of them can be looked at as Upalakshana. Upalakshana is basically, I have called out one name, which basically signifies everything. So, when he says Brahmanas were created, along with Brahmana, every Jiva Rashi was also created. So, all the Jivas were created, right? When I say Veda Vihitaha, along with Veda, all other scriptures were also created. right? And along with yajna, dana, tapas were also created. No, dharma were also created. So basically, he's telling the three ultimate words, Om, Tat, Sat are the three utmost important names of the Parabrahma. And from the same Parabrahma, long ago, at the dawn of the cosmic era, the Yajna, the Vedas, and the Brahmanas, all the living beings were also created. Right? Let us see what Aurobindo's interpretation says. The formula Om Tat Sat is the triple definition of that Brahman, by whom the Brahmanas, the Vedas, and the Yajnas were created long ago, of old. Right? See, Om Tat Sat in another way, when you look at it, right? Om can, I mean, there are umpteen ways in which we can contemplate. Again, we shouldn't stop that, that we have understood Gita after one or two readings of a book or one or two sessions like this. So this session is primarily equipping ourselves where we can do our own swadhyaya. And one part of swadhyaya will be the dharana, that manana, that constant internalization, constant recollection of the same thought meditatively, right? That's the dharana, right? We have to do that manana. And some of the ways in which that Om Tat Sat can play out, in terms of what they mean. One we saw, right? Om means that Bhagavan, where everything, Otam Prota, everything gets woven into that Bhagavad Tattva. Tat is that, but Tat is also Yena Sarvam Tatam, from whom everything is pervaded. And Sat is the Jiva. The other way of looking at, maybe another creative way of looking at it is that Om represents the scriptural knowledge, right? Om, because Pranavaha Chandasam, he says that that Omkara is effectively representative of the entire Veda, and Vedas effectively are our Shastra. And from chapter number 15, chapter number 16, chapter number 17, the focus point is the Shastra. In the 15th chapter, for the first time, Krishna introduces the concept called Shastra. Iti Guhyatamam Shastram, he says. Until then, Krishna never uses the word Shastra in the entire Bhagavad-Gita. Towards the end of the 16th chapter, he says, the Shastra is what you have to rely upon, nothing else, right? And 17th chapter is all about, for those people who do not follow Shastra, what is the thing ordained. Now, Krishna is explaining, right? This Om Tat Sat. Om is quintessentially the representative of the entire Shastric omnibus, the Shastric, anthology of all the Shastras, all the Vedas, all the Puranas, Pancharatra, Agamas, all of them put together, right? Om. Tat. Tat is that, whatever is uh, the ideal state, the Bhagavad state, like, and then Sat is the reality. Sat is basically the reality. So basically, there is something that is bookish, scripturally called out, and there is something that is the actual reality, and something that is seen, right? In the real, there is an idealistic state, there is a realistic state, and there is a scriptural state. These are the three different words. So Trilokya, when we talk about the Triloka, we can look at it in this way. Or maybe Om. Om is the Parabrahma. Akshara Brahma Paramam. Om can be that Brihat Brahma. Tat is the Mahat Brahma, because Yena Sarvam Idam Tatam. Avyakta Vyaktaya Sarvaha Prabhavatyah Ragami. Everything comes from that Avyakta, which is the Mahat Tattva. Tat is that Mahat Tattva. From everything comes from that. Everything Yena Sarvam Idam Tatam. And Sat is the Jagat, whatever we see, right? Jagat is that Sat. Asatyam apratishtamti jagadahuranishwaram. Jagat is Satya. In the Daivi Swabhava, you don't discard Jagat as Asatya. That's the Asuri Swabhava. That's what he had mentioned in the 16th chapter. Right? Sat is the Jagat, Jagat Brahma. So at another level, Om Tat Sat can define the Brahma in three different levels. One is the Brihat Brahma, one is the Mahat Brahma, one is the Jagat Brahma. I mean, we can contemplate upon them endlessly. The more and more we contemplate upon them, the more meanings we get. But formula of Om Tat Sat, the triple definition of the Brahman, by whom the Brahmanas were created. Now, the Brahmanas are the ultimate recipient of the dana, right? Deva, Dvija, right? Dvijas are the ultimate recipients of the dana. So, Brahmanas were created. If you want to really look at the dana, Yajnas were basically created by him. Tapas is all ordained in the Veda, right? It's all Vedokta tapas. So your basis for yajna, dana, tapas is also created by the same Brahman, and the different type of words is also created by the same Brahman. So the more and more we contemplate upon this, the multi-layered meanings of the same things will also it's also bound to come out. Right? We can look at the next sloka, sloka number 24. तस्मादो मित्युदाहृत्य यज्ञदानतपक्रियाः प्रवर्तन्ते विधानोक्ताः सततं ब्रह्मवादिना. I think now we get some clarity around why did he even talk about Om Tat Sat. Because Arjuna's question was about Nishtha. He could have simplistically answered the word on the Nishtha, whether it's Satvika Nishtha, Rajasika Nishtha, or Tamasika Nishtha. But he wanted to give a very elaborate explanation, right? Now, the beauty of that Om Tat Sat, why did he even talk about Om Tat Sat, I think comes now, right? Om Tasmad Om Ityudahritya Yajnadana Tapakriyaha Pravartante Vidhanoktaha Satatam Brahmavadinam. Right? The padacheta tasmat om iti udahritya yajnadana tapakriyaha pravartante vidhana uktaha satatam brahmavadina. Right? What is the Anvaya saying? Tasmat brahmavadinam vidhana uktaha yajnadana tapakriyaha satatam om iti udahritya pravartante. This is where I think we get some clarity on why he even mentioned about Om Tat Sat, right? Tasmat. The meaning is therefore. Brahmavadina, by of the Brahmavadi. Brahmavadis are basically Kamatmanah, Swargapara. Those are the kind, right? Na Amnyat Asti iti Vadinah. These people who go swear by the words of the Veda. Brahmavadi, right? Brahmavadi. People who swear by this is what is the ultimate way to reach the Brahma. So therefore, by these Brahmavadis, Vidhana Uktaha, all the spoken, all the laid down Vidhana, the procedures, the rules of Yajna Dana Tapas Kriyaha to perform the Yajna Dana and Tapas kind of activities, right? Satatam, always, Nirantara, Nitya, Om iti Udasatya Pravartante. No, they proceed, they commence only upon the utterance of Omkara, with the pronunciation of the Omkara. See, this is the beauty of it, right? When he spoke about na anyat asti iti vadinaha, there is nothing else. He's explaining subtly the meaning of it. The, even in the Vedokta procedure, your your method is that between everything you all add one Om. Like even when we say Brahma Sutra, the procedure is that we add Om kara in between. Om athato Brahma Jijnasa Om. Om Janmadhyasya Om Om Shastrayoniswat Om Om Tattva Samanvayat Om Om Ikshaterna Shabdam. Between everything we add an Om. Now, today we might be doing it in a very, very mechanical way, without any artha chintana, without any anusandhana, without any proper understanding of why we do that. But Om, the very basic fact of Omkara is that it is a reminder that everything is getting merged into that Bhagavan. Naham karta, I am not doing, this is just Bhagavan. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva tena jantavyam, Brahma karma samadhina. This beautiful sloka that we saw in the 4th chapter, just utterance of Omkara will give us that entire feeling. Om, Otam Prota. Everything is getting merged into that Bhagavan. Everything comes from Bhagavan. My hand is also Bhagavan. My hand is a conduit for Bhagavad Padartha that is getting back into Bhagavan. So this concept comes out very clearly when we keep chanting Om. That's why in the 8th chapter also he said, Om Ityekaksharam Brahma Vyaharan Mamanusmar. You have to keep chanting Omkara between everything, primarily to get the thought process right. Thought process properly aligned, that everything that we do is one with Bhagavan. Tasmat Om iti udahritya kriyate pravartante, they get created. But people who do not understand the meaning of it, they will mechanically chant Om, 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 Om without necessarily understanding. And Omkara, when we do it in a very, very selfish way, some of us here on the stage can perhaps allude to it. Even when we are facing difficulty in Ucharana, in pronunciation of a shloka. Like I want to chant Vishnu Sahasranama. Suddenly I'm getting stuck with one shloka. The best way to reset ourselves is chant on Omkara, not mine. Bhagavan, it's all yours. Suddenly our Vakshuddhi also comes out. Right? Omkara has tremendous benefits from multiple different levels also. But nonetheless, Krishna is reminding, see, all your vidhanas, they came from Vedas. No, all the vidhana uktas are basically Vedas, Vedoktas, yajna, dana, tapakriyaha, right? All your different activities like yajna, all of them that came out, right, in the previous sloka. And by Brahmavadinaha, Brahmana, right? The knowers of the Brahman are basically the Brahmana. Brahmana, the very word means Brahma Anati, the one who follows the path of Brahma, the one who trees the line laid out, by the Vidhana of the Brahma. Basically, whether you know the Shastras or not, the essence of Shastra is brought out in this shloka. Like the essence of Shastra, all the Vidhanas are basically you do it for the sake of the Brahman, Parabrahman, that's it. Right? You don't have any expectation, nothing. Right? You do it for the sake of the greater good. Now, whether you know Shastras or not, if you know this one particular truth, that Omkara is something that has been added, repeatedly, every yajna, dana, tapah, kriya, vidhana, uktaha, kriyaha, by of the Brahmavadis are primarily, pulled out, called out with the utterance, the pronunciation, the pronouncement of Omkara in between. When we understand the concept of this clearly, it doesn't really make a difference whether you know Shastras or not, right? That's primarily where I think Krishna is closing the loop of this entire explanation, right? Let's see what Aurobindo's interpretation says. Therefore, with the pronouncement or pronunciation of Om, the acts of Yajna, Dana, Tapas, as laid down in the rules, are always commenced by the knowers of Brahman. Right? Now, little more clarity. This translation from Aurobindo is good, very, word to word. But whatever I spoke, right, may come even more clearer when we see the next shloka. Right? We'll see the next shloka. तदित्यनभिसन्धाय फलं यज्ञतपःक्रियाः दानक्रियाश्च विविधाः क्रियन्ते मोक्षकाङ्क्षिभिः तदित्यनभिसन्धाय फलं यज्ञतपःक्रियाः दानक्रियाश्च विविधाः क्रियन्ते मोक्षकाङ्क्षिभिः. Let's see the padacheda. Tat iti anabhisandhaya phalam yajna tapah kriyaha dana kriyaha cha vividhaha kriyante mokshakankshibhihi. Right? The anvaya. Tat iti phalam anabhisandhaya vividhaha yajna tapah kriyaha dana kriyaha cha mokshakankshibhihi kriyate. This kind of closes the loop completely. Right? What does it mean? Tat iti. No, with the pronunciation of tat. Phalam anabhisandhaya. No, without the expectation of the result. See, look at the word tat. Tat is the Bhagavan. When I say tat, I am also looking at Bhagavan. Right? But tat also means that. Na anyat asti iti vadinaha. When people who follow the karma kanda of the Vedas, right, they think this is it. Like, no, by this yajna you will get this benefit. There is nothing else. Right? So if you want to get this benefit, you have to perform this activity. But the core of even those karma kandas are that not yours. It is not yours. It is for the Bhagavan. Brahma Arpanam, Brahma Havihi. That's why he says, now clarifying, even when you do the yajna, dana, tapaha, by saying that you also make sure that tat iti anabhisandhaya, not that I am not going for that. Right? This is not for me. That is not mine. That's also one thing. And tat is Bhagavan. Ena sarvamidam satam. Right? So this is all for Bhagavat. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha. So reminder of that. Right? So tat iti udahritya, by uttering the word tat and without any expectation of the fruits, vividaha yajna, dana tapa kriyaha cha. So the various yajna, dana, tapa activities are carried out No, moksha kankibhi kriyante. They will be carried out, they will be performed by people who seek true liberation, people who truly seek liberation. Liberation from Ashubhatva. Right? When we look at Bhagavad-Gita repeatedly, in the fourth chapter he says, you know, he says, kim karma kima karmeti kavayopyatra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshami yajnatva mokshate ashubha. Right? The Ashubha basically is that constant confusion. Is this right? Is this not right? Is this good for me to do? Is this not good for me to do? That confusion. Should I step forward? Should I hold back myself? Should I speak Gita? What if, Kiranji in the audience, but he seems to be more intelligent than the amount of intelligence he displays through his speech. Should I speak about this? What will happen if he starts insulting me tomorrow? So that always confusion, right? Whether to do this or not to do this. That's Ashubha. Should I go? Should I not go? Should I proceed? Should I withhold? All of this confusion, right? That is Ashubhatva. Is this right? Is this not all right? All of this. Shubha, Ashubha. Is this good? Is that bad? Mukti from that kind of a conundrum. Mukti from that kind of a confused state of being. That's the mukti. That's the proper moksha, right? Should I have birth? Should I not have birth? Should I have death? Should I have longer life? Forget that. As long as we live nicely. That's the whole message, right? Yesterday we saw one nice shloka. No, naparameshyam namahendradhishyam nasarvabhomam narasadhipatyam na yoga siddhira punarbhavam va mayyarpitatme chadimadvinanyat. When you offer oneself to completely to Bhagavan, you don't desire anything. You don't desire Brahma position, no Parameshtyam. You don't desire Indra Padavi, the Mahendra Dhishyam. You don't desire any kingdom on this earth, the Sarvabhaumam, no, nor anything in the netherworld, Rasadhipatyam. Now, Yoga Siddhi, you don't even desire Yoga Siddhi. No, whether Yoga Siddhi comes or not, if it comes, good for me. If it doesn't come, I will continue to serve the Bhagavan. So what? No, Yoga Siddhi. Now, Apunar Bhavamba. Many people have this desire. I don't want to be born again. I don't want to come back again. If I come back again, I want to have the Vaishnava Dharma. Forget whatever comes. Even if I'm born as a cockroach, we should only expect one thing from Bhagavan. Bhagavan, make me a centipede, millipede, insect, bee, earthworm, the cockroach. Make me anything, but make me your bhakta. I think that's it. I think no expectation other than Mayyar Pitatma. So offer ourselves to Bhagavan. Right? So here, when we perform various yajna, dana, tapas, there is no expectation, right? Moksha kankibihi. When you truly desire liberation, you desire liberation from such confusion. Let me be part of the flow. Let me be the flow. Let me go with the flow. Right? It's not go with the flow. I can't go with the flow. I just be part of a drop. Right? I just be a drop in that stream where I just flow. So I don't have to deliberate myself. I just be in the flow. Right? What comes? Where will I go? Will I traverse the entire path of the river? Will I get dissipated through the vaporization process and I get attached to the cloud? God knows what will happen to me. But let me be in the flow. Right? No ichha. That is the ultimate moksha. Right? So seekers of such liberation, they do all these yajna dana tapa, these various vividha yajna dana tapa kriyaha, without any anabhisandhaya phalam, without any fruitful expectation, without any particular vested interest. By chanting Om Tat, everything is that Brahma, Sarvam Sarvidam Brahma, Om Tat. Basically means everything is merging into that, everything is into that. And Sat is basically that is Nirdosha, we will see that later. Right? Chanting Om Tat Sat. Right? You do everything with a complete selfless resolve. Let's see what Aurobindo says. With the pronunciation of Tat and without desire of the result are performed the various acts of sacrifice, auspices, and giving. The yajna, tapas, and dana by the seekers of liberation, by the moksha kankshibhihi. Right? Let's look at the next shloka. सद्भावे साधुभावे च सदित्येतत् प्रयुज्यते प्रशस्ते कर्मणि तथा सच्छब्दः पार्थयुज्यते सद्भावे साधुभावे च सदित्येतत् प्रयुज्यते. प्रशस्ते कर्मणि तथा सच्छब्दः पार्थ युज्यते. Let's see the padacheda. Sat bhave, sadhu bhave cha, sat iti etat prayujyate. Prashaste karmani tatha sat shabdah partha yujyate. We see the anvaya. Hey partha, sat iti etat sat bhave, sadhu bhave cha prayujyate. Tatha prashaste karmani sat shabdah yujyate. I think he is giving the definition of sat, right? Earlier we saw one sloka. No, nasato vidyate bhavo. Basically, bhava and sat are one and the same. Without sat, there is no bhava. Without bhava, there is no sat. And in asat, there is no bhava. In sat, there is no abhava. So this is something that we have seen. Now he says sat bhava. Together he is bringing them together. Upartha. Sat iti. The word sat. No, etat. This. No, sat bhave. In the sense of true sense of existence. Sadhu bhave, in the true sense of goodness. Cha prayujyate is used. The sat is used in true existence, in true goodness, right? In absolute goodness and in the true sense of existence. That's where sat is used, right? Tatha prashaste karmani, and also in well praised work or well executed work. Prashaste karmani. Prashamsa is praising, right? We praise only if it's done well. And also good work is called sat. Sat shabda yujyate is used, is attached to such things. So he's basically giving the definition of sat. When I say om tat sat, sat is basically the good bhava, the sadhu bhava, and prashaste karma. When I say om tat sat, om is everything merging into him, sat is everything for him, and sat is everything is for the good. All the good work, all the good thoughts, and the good existences. Right? Let's see Aurobinda interpretation. Sat means good and it means existence. Likewise, Partha, the word Sat is used in the sense of good work. For all good works prepare the soul for the higher reality of our being. And that's where I think the Upanishads keep saying that, Kurvanneveha karmani jijivshi chatam samaham. Keep doing good work for thousands of years, hundreds of years. As long as you live, keep doing work. There is no retirement. When in our Vedic philosophy, retirement is a very bad concept, right? I think some of the countries are also waking up to the fact, and they are slowly increasing the age of retirement. I think there should not be any age of retirement till the last day, till our final breath. We have to keep contributing back to the society because that prashasta karma, that good work, that praiseworthy work is and our sattva, our jiva is primarily to add to that sattva. Right? We'll go to the next sloka. Again, looking it back to the Tesha Nishtha to Ka Krishna, forget the Nishtha, whether it's Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Offer everything to me is what Krishna is primarily hinting at in everything. Let's look at the penultimate sloka, sloka number 27. Yajne tapasi dane cha sthiti saditi chokshate karma chaiva tadartheyam sadityeva bhidiyate. Yajne tapasi dane cha sthiti sat iti uchyate. Sthiti saditi chochyate. Karma chaiva tadarthiyam sadityeva bhidiyate. The padacheda yajne tapasi dane cha sthiti sat iti cha uchyate. Karma cha eva tat arthiyam sat iti eva abhidiyate. There are more. We spoke about good existence is sat. No, uh, good behavior is sat, and good work is also sat. Right? Now he's telling, no, yajne tapasi cha dane cha stitihi eva sat iti uchyate. Sat arthiyam karma eva cha sat iti abhidhiyate. Right? There is a couple of other definitions of sat. What is that? He says yajne, in the yajna, tapasi, in the tapas, and dane, in the dana. Stitihi sat iti uchyate. Sthiti eva, the firm abiding, the maintaining of yajna, dana, tapas. No, sthiti is also the Bhagavad, sandhana, anusandhana, that establishing the Bhagavad Tattva. When he said in the previous couple of slokas, You do yajna dana tapasriyaha by the utterance of Om, which means we establish the Bhagavad Tattva there. You do those activities with the utterance of Tat, like everything is for him. Maintaining that order is also Tat. Maintaining that, establishing that city, that existence, that maintaining the same state is also called as Sat. Sitihi eva Sat iti uchyate. Maintaining the status quo of yajna dana tapa with the Bhagavad Anusandhana, right? That itself is Sat. And Sat Arthiyam Karma, and any activity which is done with the purpose of maintaining that, all work done with that central view. Evacha Sat iti abhidhiyate. It is termed as Sat again, which will be known as, which will be, which will be understood to be Sat at the end of abhidhiyate, abhidhana, which will be chanted, which will be sung, which will be praised, abhidhana, right? As Sat. Right? We will see what Aurobindo says. All firm abiding, maintaining in sacrifice, giving, and tapas, and all works done with that central view as sacrifice, as giving, as auspicious, or Sat. So basically, six definitions of Sat between these two shlokas, 26 and 27. Anything that is good, right? Anything that is good existence, anything that is good behavior, and anything good work. These are called Sat. And anything that maintains that Bhagavad Anusandhana in Yajnadana Tapasriya, that is Sat. And all actions that are done towards maintaining that status quo, it is also called Sat. Basically, five different definitions of the word Sat between these two shlokas. Right? Let's go to the next shloka, the final shloka of this chapter. Harihi Om. Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapastaptam kritam च यत् असदित्युच्यते पार्थ न च तत्प्रेत्य नो इह. Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapastaptam kritam च यत् असदित्युच्यते पार्थ न च तत्प्रेत्य नो इह. Right? What does the Padacheda tell us? Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapah taptam kritam च यत् asat iti uchyate partha na cha tat pretya no iha. Hey partha, the Anvaya says, very simple, right? Hey partha, ashraddhaya hutam, ashraddhaya dattam, ashraddhaya taptam tapaha, yatcha kritam, tat asat iti uchyate no iha na cha pretya. Very simple. Whatever is done with Shraddha is Sat. Whatever is done without Shraddha is Asat. Like that's a very simplistic definition. It is not good. Basically, Shraddhaya Hutam, right? There are three types of Shraddha, right? Shraddhaya Upetaha. Whatever is done with Shraddha will be good. That's what he is finally concluding. If you do it without proper Shraddha, Sattvika Shraddha, it is not good, right? Ashraddhaya hutam. Hey Partha, very endearing Sambodhana, right? Hey Pratatsan, Arjuna, oh Partha, Ashraddhaya, without Shraddha. Faith is just one component, right? Faith, unbudging kind of a faith, like, Ananya Gatitva. And not just that, Anindakatva, without any letting down kind of an attitude. No, not only that, also Shuddha Matitva, you don't have a blind faith. Faith can sometimes be blinded also, right? This is Shuddha Matitva. You have a clarity of thought also. So Shraddha is not just faith. But yeah, for the loose, watered down translation, we can say that. Without Shraddha, Hutam, whatever is being offered as oblation into the sacrificial fire. See, sacrificial fire need not be in front of the Homa Kunda. Right? Life is running on a sacrificial fire, right? Our stomach is the sacrificial cauldron where the energy is being created for my physical activity as well as my speech. My sound doesn't come without the gut, propelling the sound out, right? My sound, when I say the first letter, right? Has to come when that Agni in the Udara, in the stomach is activated. Right? So that's where the Huta. So Huta, basically whatever is offered to the sacrifice is offered to the light, not just that, not the symbolic yajna that we do in front of the Homakunda. Homakunda is just a symbolic yajna. The real yajna is this light. No, yajno by Vishnu. This entire creation is yajna, right? Yajnena yajnamayajanta devaha tani dharmani pratamanyasam tehanakam pratimana sachante yatra purve sadhyaha santi deva. So when we look at multiple other scriptures, we get the clearer definition of this yajna. No, ashraddhaya hutam, whatever has been offered as oblation without shraddha, whatever ashraddhaya dattam, whatever has been donated, dana, without shraddha, tapas taptam cha, whatever tapas has been performed without shraddha, whatever has been done, whatever actions has been performed in the dharmika way, in the nishtha, no, tat asat iti uchyati. That is called as asat. See, Shraddha, the very word is Shrat Dharana. When we look at the Amara Kosha, Shrat is the truth. Shrat is also Shruti. You Dharana, you hold, you uphold the Shruti. That's where the Shraddha comes, right? And that's why all the Sumanatva, Shuddhamatitva, Anindakatva, Ananyagatitva, all of that comes primarily with the objective of the word Shraddha. Shraddha is Shrat Dharana, right? And obviously, when Shrat Dharana is not happening, then Asat is the end product. It's very, very logical, right? But basically, what Krishna is telling is whatever dharma activity, acharana you do, and dharma acharana are basically yajna, dana, tapa. Like when we look at the granthas, dharma shastras, our grihastha dharma is basically pancha yajna, brahma yajna, deva yajna, bhuta yajna, nara yajna, all pitri yajna. These are the duties. And when we contemplate upon them properly, we understand that we do a very selfless life. We lead a very, very selfless life. Our our kids, our upbringing of the kids is primarily done with a sense of responsibility of the view of the bigger picture of the society, right? When we look at Ramayana, Dasharatha didn't want kids for the sake of his personal glory. He wanted kids for the sake of his kingdom. He wanted some noble kings to continue the kingdom lineage. So the the everything that we do as a grihastha, as a family life, right? It is done with the concept of yajna. That's why the grihastha dharma is all about the pancha yajna. Brahma yajna, deva yajna, pitri yajna, nara yajna, bhuta yajna, Brahma yajna, adhyayana, adhyapana, yajana, yajana, all of that, bali, harana, all of this, right? Atiti puja, atiti upachara, all of this is yajna. We are told that all of this is something that we need to do without any selfish motive, right? Whatever has been done, yajna, dana, tapa, whatever dharmacharana we do, with shraddha, absolute faith, this is brahmanyadaya. That shraddha is basically pledging everything for the sake of Brahma. Om Tat Sat. That utterance, everything merges into the Brahma. Everything is Brahmarpanam. Everything is Brahma Harihi. Everything is Brahma no Hutam. No Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam. So, with that kind of an anusandhana, everything is done. That is proper shraddha. Anything that is done without that kind of a shraddha, it is asat. And with that, nacha tat presya, no iha. You have nothing to benefit out of either in this world or in the world hereafter. Right? Let's quickly see what Aurobindo interpretation says. Whatever is wrought without faith, oblation, giving, ascesis, or other works, asat it is called, O Patra. It is not here or hereafter. Basically, in this life or in the life after this, will not get you anything in return. So, to the question of Arjuna, whatever has been done without Shastra injunction, I think very briefly in couple of shlokas, Krishna explains the core essence of Shastra. The core essence of Shastra is not for material gain, right? It is done for selfless action. And if you can understand that, it is good. And if it is done without that kind of a anusandhana, without that kind of a orientation, it is asat which will not take you anywhere, either in this life or in this life hereafter. Right? That brings us to the conclusion of chapter 17. We have one more minute left to conclude, but we will commence from chapter 18 from next week. Next Saturday, we will start from chapter 18. We begin with Arjuna Uvasa. This brings us to the conclusion. We adjourn for today. If anybody has any questions, any thoughts, any feedback, the way it's going, we are almost into the final chapter. I think there are 78 shlokas. So roughly about 6 more sessions, 6, 7 sessions. more, and we should be done with the entire Bhagavad-Gita Pratipadartha. Almost 2 years of this journey. So before concluding, a quick check across the table. Shraddhaji, Sudhaji, or anybody from among the audience, if you have any thoughts, please do come up. This is something that we do on a daily basis. Every day, morning 6 o'clock, we engage in an exercise where we try to get ourselves familiar with the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. Today we completed 107 rounds of Bhagavad Gita chanting, primarily helping each other achieve that Vak Shuddhi. Tomorrow we will commence the 108th cycle of the Bhagavad Gita chanting. And after completing the full Bhagavad Gita Parayana, which happens on Saturdays we meet to look at the Pratipada Artha. Right? And of late we have also started another exercise to study the Uddhava Gita. Right? And in all of this, there is a lot of uncertainty going on with Clubhouse as an application. So if anybody is interested, please do join the Telegram group, right, where we can stay connected. And in case something goes drastically wrong with Clubhouse, we can look at that alternative channel and decide where else to continue the satsanga. Those of you interested, please do join the Telegram group. If you don't have the link for that, please do reach out to any one of us. We'll be able to help you join this. So with that, we can conclude now. Before concluding, a quick check, Sudhaji, Shraddhaji, or anybody from the audience. Okay, there are no more thoughts. I think it's a intensive chapter. If there are thoughts, if there are any questions, any feedback, please do not hesitate to drop a line. Reach out to us. We would love to hear your thoughts. But on the reverse count of three, let's conclude for today. Those of you in good space can please come up on stage and join us for a small Jaya Ghoshi in the name of our Gita Charya, Bhagavan Sri Krishna. 3, 2, 1. Namaste Vasudevaya Preyasa Me Priyottama Samasta Guna Sampurna Nirdosha Nandadayini Mukopi Yat Prasadena Mukunda Shayanayate Rajarajayate Rikto Raghavendram Tamashchaye Bharati Ramana Mukhya Prana Tarata Shri Gopala Krishna Priyasam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Have a wonderful week ahead after this. Jai Shri Krishna.
जय श्री
Jai
कृष्ण
Shri Krishna.
जय श्री कृष्ण
Jai Shri